On this episode of Watch Stuff with Us, the top 10 best horror TV shows of all time. Thanks for checking out another episode of Watch Stuff with Us. Be sure to hit the like button, the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so that you are alerted each and every time we go live or post a video. And on this video, we are breaking down the top 10 scary TV shows of all time. This list, I believe, was made by IGN. So we're just gonna watch their video of it and then react to it as we go. So without further ado, let's watch.
Do to see a guy about a book. There must be some spell I can say to undo all this. The other first thing I got to do is some cardio, because my heart is jackhammering like a quarterback on prom night.
Are you in the mood to binge watch some seriously scary TV shows? We've looked back at our favorite shows that have been on the air over the last decade and come up with our favorite horror-drenched offerings for you to enjoy in the comfort of your own bed. Here are the 10 best horror TV shows from the last 10 years. The Haunting of Hill House instantly became one of those must-binge Netflix series, imbuing a dark and deep family drama with outright horror. The show is as much about the ghosts that haunt the Crane family as it is about their equally haunting past, and it smartly skimps on the gore in favor of psychological blood and guts that delve into the adult lives of this family's children, and how their time in the house helped to make them the men and women that they are today, better or worse.
You don't have to worry now, sweetie. That really bad dream? Of course I'd wake you.
Brian Fuller's beautiful drama series reimagined.
All right, let's talk about that one real quick. That first one, I have seen that show. If you've seen it, let me know in the comments. I thought it started out really good and then kind of like tailed off by the end. But yeah, it was really strong to start, and we definitely binged it. I think over like 2 days. I think we watched all of it. So yeah, it was a good show though, very good show. But I don't think it had like it didn't have the staying power that I was wanting. So like by the end, I was just kind of like, yeah, we got to get this over with. We watched all of it, so we might as well finish watching it. And Katie says, seen it? I like the series. Yes, yes. Just says, yes, sir, I've seen it. It was solid. Yeah, it was solid. I don't know if it's necessarily top 10. I need to see the rest of this list. And it's hard to come up with alternatives, but it was definitely a good show. It was good.
Iconic roster of characters, classic novels, and of course, Silence of the Lambs. Mads Mikkelsen gives a best performance as the charming, delectable, and deadly Hannibal Lecter, who terrorizes the local branch of the FBI while also working alongside them, wining and dining them with extravagant meals made out of his latest victims. It's one of the most haunting, stylish, and devilishly romantic horror shows of all time. R.I.P. Hannibal, you were gone too soon.
What's to be thought about that?
CW's long-running series will
Hannibal. I have not seen that show. I watched a little bit of it. I think it was on NBC. I watched a little bit of it when it first started, but I never really had time to like really get into it. So that might be one that I need to go back and watch a little bit of. Although I think I've had enough of watching people eat people after all the stuff that we've done with the Jeffrey Dahmer series on Netflix. And haven't seen what we did that show and entirely break it down from start to finish, go to our channel, hit that subscribe button right now. Hit it, and then go and check that video out right after you watch this one. Jeff says, I've seen it. It was solid for sure. Stevia says, don't get mad, but I prefer Bly Manor. See, Bly Manor was like good too, but I felt the same way about that. Bly Manor was kind of fell off towards the end too. I think I like the story more of Bly Manor, but and if I remember correctly, weren't both of those kind of rated? I'm not sure, but I think they were. Jeff says that one episode where it was all done in one take was incredible. They did that in Hannibal, like a one take episode in Hannibal. Oh, that's bananas. Yeah. Yeah, so the one take. Oh, Stevie says we have audio issues. What's going on with the audio? If you're watching, let me know what's going on with the audio. Yeah, if something's going on with the audio, let me know. Katie says she can hear me. Okay. Well, we'll just keep it going. If there is something going on with the audio, please let me know again. Oh, cutting in and out with static. Yikes. I hope not. It might just be my internet connection. Hopefully it's not going to be like that forever. We'll have to keep it rolling though.
Reached the end of the road in season 15, and while tone has shifted over the years to encompass everything from fourth wall breaking and humor,
Jay Ackles. That's fake me.
Yeah.
This must be fake mine.
to a goddamn spectacular animated crossover with Scooby-Doo, Supernatural remains one of the spookiest, bloodiest, most beloved genre shows on TV. Plus, the bond between its two ass-kicking brothers and their extended surrogate family ensures that this gem has plenty of heart.
What are you?
I'm a fish taco.
A fish taco?
A fish taco.
This macabre mashup features a
I've never been one to watch Supernatural. The only thing I know about Supernatural is when I would not work, and this has been forever, but when I wouldn't work, like I was at home sick or something like that from work, I would wake up and usually Supernatural was on right after Charmed, and I love Charmed. Say what you want to say about Charmed. I love Charmed. That was one of my favorite shows. It wasn't creepy. It was definitely like, the same sort of vibe as Supernatural was to me. So I always watch Charmed. I love Alyssa Milano. But yeah, Supernatural would always come on after it, but I never just kept watching it. So occasionally I would see like a little bit of it, but never really reached out to me. But I know it is a definite cult favorite among tons of people. Tons of people. Let's keep it rolling.
literary dream team that includes Dorian Gray, Frankenstein and his monster, Jekyll and Hyde, the Wolfman, and Dracula himself. But it's Ava Green's transfixing performance as the guide mediums Vanessa Ives that made Penny Dreadful appointment viewing during his brief preseason run.
That sounds like a warning.
It's an invitation.
Hitting the sweet spot that lands somewhere between 1980s nostalgia.
Penny Dreadful. That's one that I have not seen before. I believe that's on Netflix. I might have to check that out if it's ranked that high on here. But yeah, I haven't seen it before. If you've seen it before, drop something in the comments and let us know. But yeah, I have not seen that one before.
Creepy, fun, and genuine scares, Stranger Things took audience by storm when it debuted in 2016, and it's only grown in our hearts in subsequent seasons as we watch the crew start to grow up, even while new additions like Max and Robin have deepened the bench of beloved and quirky characters. Combine that with the adult cast led by Winona Ryder and David Harbour, some mysterious and freaky universe building, and yeah, some monsters too, has us eagerly anticipating the next season of adventures. Walking Dead started as a little.
If I had to pick a show without seeing the rest of this list, if I had to pick a show right now that would be at the top or very, very close to the top of my list, it would be Stranger Things. Like, I feel like Stranger Things is a masterpiece. They hit every note correctly, especially with the nostalgic vibe that it has for people of my age. Like, I'm about to be 41, and it's like right up that 80s, 90s alley for me. And to start it out with the kids and to watch them get older, to watch the story evolve the way that it has. I do have moments with it where I feel like they should do something else. But overall, that's about as good as you can get for a show that's been on for as long as it has been. Like a lot of times you get shows that are like pretty good for a season, maybe 2 seasons, but once you get past that point, then they start fizzling out really bad. But this one has kept up a lot of steam, and I'm excited to see what this next season is gonna hold. And we will definitely watch every episode of that and react to it of the new season coming up probably next year, hopefully next year, maybe this time next year. We will definitely watch and react each and every episode of that new season right on this channel.
Black and white comic that riffed on a well-trodden genre for horror fans. Turned the concept into a cottage industry where your mom and your mom's mom and your mother's mom were suddenly in zombie gore, end-world scenarios, and of course, human drama that is always at the heart of the best such stories. Walking Dead has had its ups and downs in the decades since it debuted on AMC, but it's still going strong in its spawning spin-offs and movies like, well, a zombie plague that just can't be extinguished.
On the same side of it. Who you tell me?
There's nothing quite like AMC's historical horror show.
All right, let's get into The Walking Dead real quick. Stevia says, I'm so glad they said Pink Dreadful because if they didn't, I was going to put it out there. Okay, if it's that good, I'm going to have to check it out. And like I said, that's on Netflix, right? But jumping back to The Walking Dead, I was a hardcore Walking Dead fan through about season 4. I got to the point where Negan started. Okay, there was the end of a season, and there was a huge cliffhanger over who was going to die, and they came back, and Negan killed some people. So I'm not gonna spoil it, but Negan killed some people. At that point, I kind of lost interest only because I felt like the show was like torture to me. Like it was a bad show. It was just that I felt like everything that I was watching was just watching my characters that I enjoy and like die. And at a certain point, like it's okay to watch, some of your favorite characters die, but the way this show has a way of being sort of like bleak and doom and gloom, like, yeah, I just couldn't do it anymore. And it was like I was just sitting back, like I said, and waiting for my favorite characters to die. Not cool with that at all. Not cool with that at all. And I lost interest. So yeah, I think I watched a little bit past that point too. And I heard that it has gotten a little bit better, and they have so many spin-off shows, but I haven't touched any of those. I think I'm kind of Walking Dead out. Like I'm done. Maybe I'll go back at some point just to finish and watch the rest, but I think there's too many other things that I can watch right now. Stevia says, I quit The Walking Dead early season 4 or 5 because it seemed repetitive. Yeah. And I mean, you would have different people and they would run into different people. And the story was pretty much the same sort of thing. I mean, there's only so much that you can do in a world like that. There's only so much of a story that you can tell. And I think that they've told just about everything that they can tell at this point. And then too, like I read the graphic novel, like loved them. And I read all the way through, man. I know I read everything with the governor. So like all the way through season 3, I read pretty much the equivalent to that in the graphic novel comic book stuff. So but yeah, really good. I really enjoyed those. But then the TV show came out, it was really good in the beginning, and then it kind of tapered off to me. Same here, bro. I had to let Walking Dead go around season 6. Yeah, you just get to a certain point, it's too much. Too much. I got enough real life drama, and I don't need to watch something that's gonna make me feel like crap when I watch it. And like, dang man, like I'm hurting for this character. Like it's okay for that stuff to happen occasionally, but everybody that you like was gonna die. I still think one of the best moments in TV took place on that show when I can't think of her name. Man, see, it's been that long since I watched it, but the main character who was on the show, I feel like an idiot right now. I can't think of her name. But his wife passed away, and the hurt and the sadness of him finding out about that and the reaction of him finding out made me like super tear up. Like it just seemed so real, so real. Like that was, and I mean, and I feel like that's when The Walking Dead was like, and I know it's kind of it's kind of hypocritical to say like a death was one of my favorite moments, but it really was. Like that was, it hit so hard when she died and when he knew that she died and how he dealt with it afterwards. Like, man, like that really hit me hard. And yeah, it's one of the few times I definitely did cry, watching the show. But I think we did enough Walking Dead talk. We'll keep it going.
Which was based on the 2007 novel of the same name, fictionalized the real story of the polar exploratory vessels HMS Erebus and HMS Terror. Playing on the primal fear of the unknown and the wilderness, the first season of The Terror is an explosively tense and terrifying, no pun intended, series focused on the crews of ships who must survive the brutal weather, a supernatural menace, and, as time creeps on, each other. The second season followed, featuring a new cast set in a Japanese internment camp. This French offering is one of the creepier.
The Terror. Never heard of it. Never seen it. Never seen one bit of it. So I don't know anything about it. It doesn't even really sound that good. Maybe it is, but the way they described it doesn't really sound all that good. And oh yes, Jeff, Rick's wife, Lori. God, that hit me to the core. That hit me to the core. Like really, that really hit me to the core. Katie says, I watched The Walking Dead till season 4, I believe, and then fell off. Yeah. I think a lot of people kind of did at that point. Somewhere between season 4 and 5, everybody kind of got a little bit tired of it. I know the beginning of it was like riveting though. But yeah, with Lori dying, oh, so hard to watch. And Rick's reaction to that, man.
And more affecting picks on our list, transporting viewers to a small alpine town which was torn apart by the deaths of a coachload of school kids and their teachers. Several years later, members of the community who were killed in that traffic accident start returning alongside other dead people, none of whom seem to realize that they've been dearly parted for a while. Chilling, moving, and decidedly original, this supernatural mystery is an underrated gem. After years, decades really, of hopes and dreams of
that really sounded good. And I know it's a French show, I guess. And it's I don't know even where to find it at, but that actually sounded good. It would kind of suck to watch it with subtitles, but shoot, I try it. That actually sounds decent.
Evil Dead 4 movie that never quite came to be, the unthinkable happened. Yes, something even more unthinkable than your headless, dead-eyed girlfriend chasing you around with a chainsaw. An Evil Dead TV series was greenlit, and it featured not only Bruce Campbell returning to the iconic role of Ash Williams, but also the original Evil Dead producer-director team of Sam Raimi and Rob Tapert coming back to steer the further adventures of the most heroic screw-up in the history of horror. It was bloody, it was fun, and it was a long time coming. Yeah, looking good. A primetime TV show based on what?
That's another one. I don't know anything about Ash versus the Evil Dead. Like I've heard of it before, but I know nothing about it. Has anybody else checked that one out before? If you had, let me know. But yeah, I don't know anything about that one. I do like the kind of horror comedy type movies. Those are pretty good too. And they might not be scary, but it can be entertaining.
One of the most critically acclaimed horror films of all time has no right to be as enjoyable, effective, and creepy as Bates Motel. But this psycho prequel delivers. Expanding on both the novel and the film, the series delivers chills and thrills as well as actually creating interesting character arcs for both Norman and his mother.
Mother, what have you done?
Vera Farmiga is a standout here, all tortured emotions and dangerously protected love. Really, Vera is an underrated horror icon and a gift that none of us deserve.
You didn't kill my Watson. I did.
Bates Motel. I have not seen any of that. None of it, but I know that I've heard great things about that show too, and I'm pretty sure I was gonna say I know Jeff, I know you watched that one. I remember us talking about it before, but yeah, I've never Haven't seen any of it, man. We got to go back and watch that. And I know Katie, he's, I think, what's the show called? It's not The Good Doctor. Is that what it's called? But I know the guy that's in Bates Motel is also on that show too. And a lot of people said that that was really good. The Terror is really good. Great cast. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out. Maybe that actually did look pretty good. Bates was Wild. We watched the entire series. Yeah, yeah. I've heard good things about that show. So I have to add that one to the list too. Kay says yes. I need to watch it. Yeah, I might have to add, especially Bates Motel. That's definitely one that I'm gonna have to go back and watch a little bit of. Is there anything that this list from IGN missed? And these they were just covering stuff that was over the past decade, but I feel like there had to be some other shows that they missed. Um, so I'm gonna cross reference that list right there with another list that I see. Let me pull that one up. And yes, this one is the best horror TV shows of all time. And I think this is like a list of 30, but let me make sure I'm going scrolling the right way. Yeah. So we'll look at this one too. So number 10 on this one is The Walking Dead, of course. Number 9 is American Horror Story. Ryan Murphy, who also directed the Monster Jeffrey Dahmer series, which we've watched and have raved about, was the director of American Horror Story. And I really like the show because it's an anthology show and they have a different cast, an entirely different story every year. And I believe I watched the first 3 seasons. The last season I remember watching religiously was the season where they were in like the circus, I believe. I remember watching all that. But Evan Peters was in the first season of it, which I felt was amazing TV. Like it was it definitely was a twist and it was yeah, it was just excellent TV. I really, really, really enjoyed that show. Stevie says, I just got to ask, what is your definition of scary? For me, it's not so much fantastical things, but things that can happen or have happened in real life. Yeah, I won't necessarily say that it's things that I think both of them get me. Both the fantastical things can get me, and also the things that have occurred in real life. The stuff that happens in real life might hit me a little bit harder, or I think for me the things that scare me the most are the ones that combine both. It's something that hasn't necessarily happened, but it could happen, and those are the ones that I feel like are the best. Like that's why I really like The Walking Dead so much in the beginning, because it's ultra realistic for the most part, and it took place in a setting that is believable. That like if we had a zombie apocalypse right now, that in about 2.5, 3 years, we'd be at the Walking Dead point for sure. Like it'd be just like that show. So I think that those are the ones that hit me the most and scare me the most. But I don't know. Things don't really scare me a ton anyway, though. But that's beyond the point. Stevia says, I'm with you, Katie. And that's because Katie says, scary for me is anything that gives me nightmares. I hate suspenseful movies. Yeah, suspenseful movies are good too. I enjoy that sort of on the edge sort of feeling. And I know we haven't dealt with movies yet, and this movie wasn't overly scary. But if I could recommend a movie that I've seen relatively recently, and by relatively recent, I mean in the last few years, that was a technically, I guess, a scary movie, but one that if you haven't seen it, you need to see it, is The Invisible Man with Elizabeth Moss. Super good movie. Really, 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 really good movie. Horror slash suspense movie. Probably more suspense than anything. There are some scenes in there that are kind of scary. But yeah, there's a certain scene in that movie that literally made me yell. Like, not, I didn't scream, but I was just like, oh, like, yeah, it was amazing, amazing. And just for that, I mean, the whole movie was good, but that one scene where something happened and it got me, like, that's what I hold on to. I love movies that get me because, like I said, I pride myself in trying to figure these things out. Most of the time I do. And that one, it came out the blue and just blew my mind, blew my mind. Jeff says American Horror Story is great too. Yes, agreed, agreed. I think season 8 of Game of Thrones was horrifying. Dude, let's not even get into that. I just got um I just got Katie to start watching House of Dragons with me. She hasn't seen any Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones, that last season was horrible. The ending was so unsatisfying. And it's amazing to have a show that hits so many amazingly high notes end on such a bad note. Just like just imagine somebody singing the national anthem and they kill it. They Whitney Houston style killing it. And then they get to Home of the Brave and hit that brave line. And it's brave. Yeah, that's exactly what Game of Thrones season 8 was. Because it was hot garbo. Hot garbo. And I so mad that they kind of wrecked it. It's still the only show that I would recommend to somebody that has a bad ending, but still, the ride was incredible. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. Jeff says it's a mix for me. Yep, I agree. Yes, Jeff. Invisible Man was fire. Invisible Man was amazing. Yeah, really good movie. Really good movie. And I really hope, like, that was one of those movies where, like, yeah, you can make a sequel easily. Like, I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but you could easily make a sequel and actually start trying to build a universe out of that type of movie. And I think that those are those kind of really like grounded kind of stories like that. That's, it is a fake premise, but I can see something like that happen. So real quick, let's go back to this TV show list that I was looking at. But yeah, American Horror Story, amazing, really good. Black Mirror, yes, another one. Like, not necessarily always scary. Anthology type show. Each episode is something completely different, but oh my goodness, man, really exceptionally well done TV. I can think of several episodes from that show that make you think like, oh my goodness. The one where they had the implants or the contact lenses that recorded everything in the eyes, the pig episode with the politician, like, just scenarios where you like, dude, if that was real, what would I do in that scenario? And I mean, they hit so many amazing topics, and they don't necessarily, if you sit back and think about them, you can see how they're really commenting on society a lot and the technology that society has, or even in some episodes, a lack thereof. One episode that was really good too was the episode where they had I think it was an app, and the app would, like, in real time, if you had a good interaction with somebody, you would hit like the like button for them. And if your numbers or if your rating or whatever got to a certain point and too low, they would actually start like taking things from you. And if it got too low, they would like completely wipe you out. So it led to a extremely fake society of people who were just trying to do anything they could to get the likes. And I feel like that is exceptional commentary on the current state of social media, which I have a love-hate relationship with. I love YouTube. I hate Facebook. I don't like well, I won't say that I hate Facebook. Facebook has its purpose. I'm not one of those people who like to overshare things on Facebook. Some people do. To each their own. I'm just not gonna spend all my time on there. But we're not even gonna get into that. That's a different show. You didn't tune in here for watching that one. Stevie says, speaking of Elizabeth Moss, I think The Handmaid's Tale is terrifying. It really is. And as time goes on, I feel like that could potentially happen. I don't really think that it's going to happen, but if I had to put a percentage on it, that percentage has risen over the past, like, over the time that the show has been on TV, that percentage of it actually happening has risen for sure. Let's go. Let's see what's next. True Detective. Oh my goodness. The very first first season of True Detective is must-watch TV with Woody Harrelson, and I can't think of the other guy, Colin Farrell. Amazing TV, an amazing story. Just yeah, wonderfully acted. Yeah, must see TV. And it's funny that that's on horror. It's not really, I don't really consider that a horror, more so like suspense drama type show, but yeah, really good. Really good. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, never seen an episode of it. I know people love that show. Like beyond a cult following. Like love Buffy. Never seen an episode of it. Channel Zero. Okay, that dude's face is super creepy. I don't know anything about Channel Zero. Hannibal alone, Nick Acosta equaled that series' gruesome vision not once, not twice, but 4 separate times with this horror anthology series. Each of his quartet of standalone seasons is based on a different creepypasta, the viral online horror stories that have kept insomniacs up since the dawn of the web. Okay, I'm gonna have to check that out then, because I don't really do a whole bunch of the creepypasta stuff, but I do know a lot of the stories, so that's one I'm definitely gonna have to add to my list. The X-Files, amazing, amazing. One of the first shows that I watched in its entirety when it was like actually airing live, and I was probably a little too young to be watching the X-Files, but I loved it. I love things that deal with extraterrestrials, UFOs, the unknown, stuff like that. Love those types of things. Oh, and before I forget, one other thing that I need to share. Actually, let me write it down. Okay, just so I won't forget. After we do the list, then I'll tell you guys about this one. Jeff says, I agree regarding True Detective. Yes, yes. True Blood, the early seasons. I try to get Katie to watch True Blood. I don't think that True Blood was scary. True Blood was great storytelling, especially in the beginning. Very good storytelling. It was like the perfect mix of drama, cheesiness, sex and nudity, and like just like it was kind of campy at times too. And like the character actors are great. Like it was just the perfect combination of all that stuff. So yeah, I'm right with you there on True Blood, Stevia. And Katie, we need to watch that one too. But yeah, let me finish this list. So we had X-Files, Hannibal, which was covered in the video. Gonna have to go back and watch that one. The Twilight Zone. I haven't seen, and I did not know the Twilight Zone only ran from 1959 to 1964. But yeah, I haven't seen a ton of episodes. I know about a lot of the episodes and some of the ones I'm sure they cover in here, but I know that a lot of current movies and TV shows were inspired by the Twilight Zone. So yeah, I know that's a super important, very relevant show. Twin Peaks. Never seen the episode of Twin Peaks. I know about the twist ending, so I don't think that I would watch it now. But I love the idea of what the show is about. But yeah, I wouldn't watch it now since I kind of know I know how it ends. I think it would be awesome to have watched it when it was like in its heyday. That would have been awesome. Sort of like the way Lost was. Has anybody watched Lost? That was one of my all-time favorite shows too. And another one that did not stick the landing. Did not stick the landing. But really enjoyed the ride of Lost. So yeah, thanks for checking out this episode of Watch Stuff with Us. We broke down our top 10 and some more from our favorite TV shows. If you liked it, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so that you're notified each and every time we go live, man. So that you can be a part of these shows just like Stevia, Jeff, Katie have been a part of this episode right now. That could be you. So do it. Later.